The first week of negotiations is over, and in Germany we get a first feeling of a hard Brexit already. That's what I want to talk about in this video. I'm Mark, greetings from Germany and welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, click the little bell and the notifications so you won't miss my new Brexit videos in the future. The first week of the Brexit negotiations between the EU and the UK is over. Even before that, we already knew what was, let's say, quite a difficult starting condition. Because in the last weeks and months we've always seen the EU says this, the UK says that, and whatever either one says, the other one usually said the complete opposite. We know the atmosphere is quite toxic for negotiations like this. One example is just the comments under every single of my videos recently. And so it's quite unclear how you want to reach any agreement under these conditions. We know in several areas there are really big differences. In trade, for example, Boris Johnson and his government say they want a loose trade agreement like CETA, the one with Canada. It's quite different, by the way, from what they signed in the political declaration of the withdrawal agreement. Because in the withdrawal agreement and the political declaration, which is not binding, I do know that, it said they want a very close relationship. And that included close alignment in some areas. And now it's CETA with no alignment to any EU rules. And the EU, of course, says CETA is not possible because there is a physical border between the UK and the EU, because that is the border between the EU and the UK, even if you can't see that. And there very well might be checks. At the second there are doubts that the customs border in the Irish Sea is working, there will be checks on that border. We can be happy that we have agreements in the withdrawal agreement already for the time after the 31st of December, because we will need them as much as we can see that now. We will need these agreements from the withdrawal agreement for the Northern Ireland and Ireland border. But that topic at the same time makes it impossible to just copy CETA. And the other thing is, even if Boris Johnson once again said we just do no tariffs, no quotas and everything like Canada, that's not what happened with Canada. There are tariffs and quotas on some goods, and there definitely have to be rules for services, and so that won't work. And that's what the EU says. Canada is not possible. We are close, much closer than with Canada, and we need a different set of rules. And especially because of this close proximity, there must be the very famous or infamous, whatever side you look on it, level playing fields. That means there have to be agreements on the standards for workers' rights, for environment, for state aid, and so on and so on. Because what the EU does not want is a third state with the possibility for dumping on wages and several other things with access to the EU market. The other big thing is the financial market. Of course, that's really important for the UK, and I absolutely understand the demands of the British government that they want a long-term agreement on that one, and not like the EU does with everybody else, an agreement that can be cancelled within 30 days in case the standards in the third country are changing. And that's another point where I don't see how they want to come together. Then there's fishing. Of course, there was a big topic in the campaign, although I must say from my point of view a lot was misrepresented there. But let's stay with what's said. The UK government wants an annual agreement on fishing with annual quotas. And the EU wants a long-term deal in that case, so it's the other way around like it is with the financial market. And they want a long-term deal with the UK there, and that's just important for countries like France, for example, who want access to that market. But you must never forget the political structure of the EU. So whatever France is willing to do will be important in the end for any deal, because it has to be a unanimous vote. And they do need the vote from France. The other point is for the British fishers, or fishermen, fisherwomen, I don't know what you call it these days when you always have to watch out for all the gender stuff, but it is far more complex than is always used in the press, for example, on either side of the channel. Because what kind of fish is being fished in the UK? And what kind of fish is being eaten in the UK? Because the majority of the fish caught in UK waters is not used in the UK itself. It's being exported mostly to Europe. And without any agreement there, that would mean there are high tariffs on fish, because the fish you use for fish and chips and stuff like that is imported from somewhere else. It's not the fish you catch in British waters. And so high tariffs on British fish would make it impossible to be sold in the EU, because it would be far too expensive. And so they have to find an agreement there. And of course there's the case of what happens in case of the EU and the UK fighting over parts of the deal, what they mean, has anybody broken it and whatever. The EU definitely wants the ECJ to have the last word on it, the European Court of Justice. And they say it's not enough to have the regulations like from the CETA deal in these cases. And of course the UK does not want the ECJ to have any word in anything they are dealing with, although the ECJ is still responsible for everything that's part of the withdrawal agreement. I'm just mentioning this because, in case somebody believes that on 31st of December the UK will have nothing to do with the ECJ anymore. They do. And on this basis we had the first week of negotiations, and you already knew it's going to be difficult. In the first week, of course, it's just starting. Everybody's make their opening statements. There's a major group of people involved there, at least 100 people on either side. It's not just what you see on TV. There's a big table with the people sitting around and then talking. No, there are hundreds of experts involved in these negotiations for every single topic. You need experts, and it won't happen that way. There will be group negotiations. Every side will have directions from their bosses, what they can agree on, what they can't agree on, what's their demands, and so on and so on. It's a very complicated thing. In the main group with Barnier and Frost, there were already big problems this week, because I only heard Barnier's statement after the first week of negotiations. I haven't heard anything from Frost so far. If you know anything where I can find something, please tell me. I couldn't find anything. But so I'm just going to talk about what Barnier said. And to understand what Barnier said, you need to know he's a diplomat. And so you have to read a little bit between the lines of what he said, because he was quite polite. Translating what he said was, during the negotiations between Barnier and Frost, Frost over and over and over mentioned the independence of the UK. That's fine. The UK is an independent nation. By the way, was quite an independent nation before the 31st of January, but I know some of you doubt that, but let's keep it there. And Frost is absolutely right. The UK can sign a deal if they want to. They can demand what they want to. They can sign what they want to. They can not sign whenever they want to. But, and that was something Barnier made very clear, he doesn't have to repeat it all the time. They know that. But Barnier said he must not forget the same counts for the EU. The EU decides what kind of deal they would sign. And in the case of the EU, we're talking about 27 members that have to agree on everything. And if there's only one who doesn't want that, it won't happen. And so there are two independent entities facing each other. Neither side has to sign anything. But if they don't agree on anything, in the end it will be a WTO Brexit. And what that feels like, we in Germany even can see right now, because of a stupid virus I just don't want to mention much more, but just because of the panic shopping, we in German call Hamsterkäufe, that means hamster shopping. It's more having to do with the behavior of a hamster with grasping food and stuff like that. And although the current meme is always people buying a hamster. No, but even in Germany now, we see what, for example, Operation Yellowhammer and other papers said would happen in case of a WTO Brexit because of the customs controls at the French border, for example. There will be shortfalls in toilet paper, and that's a big one we can see. I really had to wait a week to buy toilet paper, and it was almost the last one again when I bought some this morning, because the people are buying toilet paper like hell, as if we never get them again. And the same goes for flour, the same goes for water, carbonated water for example, and canned food and stuff like that. And that's exactly what was in some predictions for a WTO Brexit for the first weeks after that, as soon as the storages are empty, because there's not so much storage space, as you probably know. And so I think I heard that the same is happening in the UK at the moment, but that is something I don't want because my government made the decision. And I don't know about you in the UK. Do you want that? So I still hope we can find a solution. It's, I said that before, quite ambitious to find that until June, and there will not be the big deal in June, but still there have to be some solutions to prevent stuff like this. This is just idiotic panic at the moment and totally unnecessary. But if that happens because you can't get the new stuff into the country, that would be a really bad thing, and I hope that won't happen to you. And I hope that stops in Germany soon as well, when people come to their minds again. If you want to see more about Brexit, I put my next video here on this end screen for you. I hope to see you there. Viel Spaß!